Hey y'all, it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am coming to you with what I hope is going to be a weekly reading vlog. I've started a few vlogs already in the past few weeks that have never seen the light of day because I just don't read. I have really been struggling with reading lately, so I think vlogs might help me ease my way back into it. Today is Saturday the 4th. We are officially going into the week of my birthday. So I thought I would take you along for that. I don't think anything really spectacular is going to be happening. I just plan on having a cake. I'm currently reading a young adult fantasy. I'm reading Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I'll show it to you later. But I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just really slow going. Today's Saturday, and Saturday is normally the day that I try to dedicate to reading, and a lot of reading has not happened today because it's Vlogmas. A lot of people are posting daily. And also, I have been working in my K-pop art journal recently. I started that this week, and I am just loving it so much. And it's been really nice to have another creative outlet. I used to bullet journal and collage journal quite a bit before I had my channel. And then once I got into this kind of took all of my creative juice and I just put everything into this. And in the new year, I'm hoping to kind of find a balance between all of my hobbies. But I think when I'm crafting like that, I'm not really reading. And I haven't really been reading for the past month, which apparently is actually on trend for me. When I looked at past years and past videos, November is always a month I struggle with. November is typically always a month where I barely read, so I can't really feel bad about that. December is also kind of like that because a lot is happening in December as we gear up for the holidays, so a lot of days I'm not at home. Last year was, of course, very, very different. But I think I'm going to be very forgiving with myself. December is not a month to be trying to read a dense classic. So I think I'm just going to give myself a break from classics for the rest of the year. And so right now I am reading a YA fantasy, but I am also currently reading a nonfiction that I started in Nonfiction November here at the very end, and that is A History of Korea. So Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space very kindly sent this to me for Christmas and my birthday, which was really, really sweet. And here's an instance of where great minds think alike because I also sent her this book for Christmas. So we literally got each other the same book for Christmas. So truly, great minds do think alike. This is a very short book for the subject matter that it's trying to discuss. And it's pretty much upfront about that you're probably going to have issues with it if you were already familiar with Korean history because the author has made choices on what to emphasize and what to discuss. And so some instances that are placed as very important, if you know a lot about Korean history, you may disagree with that. But this book is essentially designed for beginners to Korean history, and that's really what I am. I know very, very little about Korean history, so this has been just really fascinating and has been a really great reading experience thus far. This is one in a series of books where different authors are telling the entire history of a different country, and I'm really excited now about that series in general. So this one is one that I am really loving thus far. I am tabbing it up. I don't know if you can see that, but I am tabbing things and I'm taking a lot of notes. I'm just really enjoying this one. But on the subject of book mail, Tori from Hufflepuff Discovery very kindly sent me a book for Christmas as well, and that is The Bookseller of Florence by Ross King, which was one of my most anticipated books of the year this year. This is a really fascinating nonfiction that is talking about a man who was a bookseller in Florence during the Renaissance, and I believe it talks quite a bit about how important manuscripts and books were in creating the environment that eventually did birth the Italian Renaissance. But this is about a very specific person who I am very unfamiliar with, so I'm really excited. Look at this spine. Isn't that just beautiful? So I'm really excited about this one as well. I have some really great bookish friends. Tonight, I think I'm gonna get some thoughts together again for more in my K-pop journal, which I have just started. Maybe I'll show that to you. I was thinking towards the end of the year I might tell you about my reading life in journals or just my life in journals because I keep a wide variety of journals None of them are full. I never finish anything, but I like to have a different journal for different things. And so my K-pop journal is more of an art journal and a place where I can collage, which is what I find really therapeutic. I really love collaging. And so that's kind of like my old bullet journal. I used to call it a bullet journal, but essentially I collaged things. But like I said, that's something that sort of dropped off for me when I started my channel. But I really like the thought of having an art journal that is specific to a topic. And so I'm really loving my K-pop art journal right now. So today I did a spread on Kai. If you know who Kai is a member of EXO, but he's recently had a solo song called Peaches. And so I did a spread on that, and I did a spread on BTS's Jin for his birthday. And I am thinking now about other spreads that I want to do. It's been really, really nice to do that. And so maybe what I should do is get an audiobook, because I find that I can focus on an audiobook if I am doing something else. But I'm not somebody who can just sit and listen to an audiobook. But tonight I'm hoping to get some more thoughts together for that. And I think I'm gonna watch Lost in Space. The last season of Lost in Space came out. I'm kind of excited about it. So I think I'm gonna watch Lost in Space, think about my art journal, and I'm also gonna order in some seafood. I'm gonna get some calabash shrimp. I feel like every time I vlog, I am showing you fried shrimp, or I'm talking about eating shrimp or fish in general. And I promise you, I don't eat it that much. It's actually not something that I eat, but every few months. It's a very rare occasion when I eat fish or shrimp, but I'm really craving it. It's one of my favorite things, so maybe that's why it gets so much airplay. But I haven't been to the beach in a long time, and I need some fried shrimp. So I think I'm gonna order in tonight, and I think I'm just gonna have a nice, easy evening, and maybe I will finish my YA fantasy, maybe not. I'll update about that later. So I'm coming to you again from the exact same location because I just can't bear to walk away from the Christmas tree. I just want to be filming in front of the Christmas tree this time of year, but we just got back from Home Depot, really looking for some greenery to go outside, kind of some clippings from Christmas trees and firs to do kind of an outdoor arrangement, sort of. That was a real bust. Home Depot really didn't have much of anything. What they did have was very, very small, and it was so expensive. I just could not believe it. But I did walk away with a few plants. So here is my mini Christmas plant haul. First off, I got this small poinsettia for my mom in this cute little pot. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Isn't it just precious? I love poinsettias. I'll show you. I have a big one right down here at the fireplace that is a white and a red one together, and it is gorgeous. It's just been a really good year for poinsettias, I believe, and I really love them. I was going to say I think poinsettias are one of my favorite flowers, but I believe I say that about every single flower I see. Very few flowers do I dislike. I dislike marigolds. That's something I don't really care for, but I do love poinsettias, and I just think that is the cutest thing ever. Speaking of poinsettias, I got this gorgeous pink poinsettia to go in my room. My room has a bit of a pink theme, and so in the fall I was on the hunt for pink and green pumpkins. Pink and green is kind of my color palette up there, and so I saw this and I just couldn't resist it. Isn't it gorgeous? I just think poinsettias are absolutely beautiful, and the color of this is insane. I mean, that is just a beautiful, beautiful plant. So I'm gonna carry that upstairs and put that near my Christmas arrangement that I have on my dresser, which is all pink ornaments. And I'm really loving that. This is the first year that I have ever put seasonal decor in my bedroom, because in truth, my bedroom is not really a place that I spend a lot of time. It's only been over the past couple of years during the pandemic that sitting in my room and reading in my room has become a thing that I like to do. Used to be my room was just where I went to sleep. I slept, I got up, and I left it and never returned. It was not a place that I spent a lot of time. But over the past year, I found that I really enjoy being in there. And so it's nice to have a little bit of holiday spirit up there as well. Last but not least, I got this gorgeous Christmas cactus. Is she not lovely? Look at her. I mean, gorgeous. I just cannot believe it. We have a Christmas cactus in the kitchen that my aunt brought at Christmas a couple of years ago. And frankly, it was almost dead when she brought it over because it was kind of past the point when they were blooming. And so we kept it because the greenery was still alive. And every year now, it blooms at Halloween. So it does come back and it blooms again, but it blooms at Halloween. It doesn't bloom in the Christmas season at all, which is really strange. It's a red Christmas cactus. And I think this one actually is too, because I can see from that bloom that it's quite a bit darker than the buds are. But that is just gorgeous. I love these. I am in many ways just a plant person though, so I really love all plants. You can't take my opinion seriously, but I do really enjoy these, and I think they're absolutely gorgeous. I mean, she is just the littlest thing, and she's just packed full of blooms. So I can't wait to put her near the window and see her every day in the lead up to Christmas, and I'm gonna keep her. We'll see what she does. I also am gonna keep the poinsettias because my grandmother on my father's side used to keep poinsettias, and she said the key to making them come back, because they do live, but they often don't bloom again, is that you put them in a dark place. I'm not sure if that works. I've never tried it, but we'll try it when the blooms go away this year, and let's just see. Maybe next year the poinsettias will bloom again. So, reading update. I am still currently reading Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I don't believe that I actually told you what this was about. I just mentioned that I was reading it. But this is a really charming fantasy story that feels like it's really fairy tale-like. And so I think the blurb kind of tells you that our main character's boyfriend becomes engaged to her sister. She doesn't really understand why, because they don't really know each other. And so she goes and makes a deal with someone called the Prince of Hearts to get her boyfriend back and to kind of understand why this happened. That is the very tip of the iceberg. I'm 200 pages in. I would say that is not really an indication of what the book is about at all. I think there's kind of a bachelor element at play here as well. There's just really more of a fairy tale element. I think if you like fairy tales and you like fairy tale retellings, this is one you should pick up. And I just recently did a wintery book recommendations video. This would be ideal because the majority of it has taken place in a place called the Magical North, which is really frozen and charming. Small dragons roam around everywhere. The inns are like designed like shipwrecks. It's just a really interesting fantasy world. One thing I will say, I have not read in full the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber, which was her series prior to this. This is clearly set in the same world because I do remember a couple of characters' names from the first book. They showed up here, and I believe a major plot point of that series was spoiled because I've really been enjoying this, and I thought to myself, I should go back to Caraval. I don't recall enjoying the first book that much, but I should go back to it because I just think her writing is so charming. And then something happened that made me believe that a major element of that series had been spoiled in this book. So that is something to keep in mind. If you care to read the Caraval series, I would read it before you picked this up. But I am really enjoying it. I think it is exactly what I need right now. I do feel as though I'm reading it very, very slowly. I'm reading it much slower than I would normally read fantasy, I believe, but that's okay. A lot is going on. This is a really fast time of year, a fast-paced time of year where you're doing quite a bit. And so reading does normally take a back seat for me during the Christmas season. And so it's fine that it's taking me so long, but I am really enjoying it every time I pick it up. I'm also still reading A History of Korea. Christy is also reading this, and we're both really enjoying it. I think we're both learning a lot. Something I am struggling with, though, is that I wonder if people will ask me if I recommend this. And since this is one of my first forays into Korean history, I don't really know if the historian here is doing a good job or not. I have no context for how they are choosing to tell the history of Korea. And so I actually don't know if this is a really great nonfiction or if it is poorly done. I will say, though, I think Christy and I both are feeling that this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is not going to be the only history of Korea that we read. I think it is designed as a beginner's guide, and it's doing well for me from that aspect because I really like that it's kind of bullet pointing things for you. It gives you a timeline at the beginning of each chapter, and it kind of hones in on a particular historical figure to give you context for that time period. And that works really, really well for me. I think that's a great way to learn about a time period, is to kind of get an in and look through someone else's eyes. And I think that's been done very, very well here. So this is one I'm really enjoying and that I'm still really excited about. I would love to know down below if you have any suggestions for Korean history books, if you are familiar at all with Korean history, because I think this is just going to start my obsession. So I will hopefully check in with you a little bit later in the week. I am back again with more book mail. I am not really sure what this is. I have an idea. But so I got a package this morning, kind of crazy. I went out the door this morning to work and the package was sitting there. So the mailman brought something at like 7 o'clock this morning. And I think this is something I ordered. I have ordered a few books, a few used books, and I ordered them literally weeks ago and nothing has come yet. I have a couple of project ideas. I think this might be something for both of the projects that I am thinking about working on. And it is. I have 2 books here, one for each project. And so the first of these is Kim Ji-young, born 1982, which is so much shorter than I thought it was. So I got this for a project that I am doing kind of surrounding BTS and Nam-Joo, or RM from BTS, who is a really big reader. And I wanted to do just a themed reading vlog, reading all of his suggested books, or just reading a few of them, because he does have a pretty massive reading list. But this is one that he has recommended, and it's actually one that a lot of K-pop idols have recommended over the years. I think Kai from EXO, who is one of my big biases, I think he's also read this and enjoyed this, and I think several of the members from Blackpink enjoyed this as well. And this is supposedly a very feminist story, but it's apparently also a little bit of a thriller. Its setup is apparently very, very interesting. And so Kim Ji-young is actually a very common name in Korea. And so I think the point of this book is that this could be any woman. This could be any woman's experience. And so this is one that I'm really excited to get into. And I might pick it up very, very soon since it is so short. I also picked up the selected writings of William Hazlitt. So this is for what I think is going to be my 2022 yearly reading project. So this year I did a reading project surrounding basically Napoleon, reading books about Napoleon, reading books that Napoleon read. Next year I am feeling as though I want to do the Shelleys. I want to do Percy and Mary Shelley. Percy specifically because next year is the big bicentennial of his death. I hate it though because I don't really feel as though I gave my all to my Napoleon project. I feel as though really in the end, I added more books to the project than I completed reading. Throughout the year, I constantly found more books that he had read, more books that he really liked, books about him, more nonfiction, more historical fiction. So in essence, I actually added to my list about Napoleon, and I very rarely crossed anything off the list. So it feels kind of strange to go into the new year and switch to another person, but I really liked the idea of keeping this to people going through a bicentennial or just a big anniversary. This was a pretty massive year in terms of anniversaries, and it was the bicentennial of Napoleon's death, and so that's kind of why I picked Napoleon this year. Next year will be the bicentennial of Percy Shelley's death, and so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. I do in general want to just make it a Shelley-focused project, but I really want to read the things that the Shelleys wrote, and I want to read books that they really enjoyed. And so William Hazlitt is a contemporary of the Shelleys. He knew them pretty well, and I think he specifically knew Percy pretty well, but Percy often writes in their shared journals that he is reading William Hazlitt. So far with where I'm at in their journals, he hasn't really specified what by William Hazlitt he's been reading and what by William Hazlitt he's really been enjoying. So hopefully getting a selected writings will just kind of cover all of the bases for me. I'm really excited about both of these projects. I think my RM Nam-Joo project is going to spill over. I think it's going to be longer than just one video, and that's totally fine by me. He has a really awesome sounding reading list. I do wonder though if I'm really going to get on with him. I really want to read the books that have inspired BTS's music and their music videos. And I also just really like RM as a person. And I think reading his list will be just really, really fun. I've always wanted to do a themed reading vlog, reading maybe celebrities or historical figures' favorite books. And I think he's going to be an excellent choice for that, but he does seem as though he is far more literary than I am, and that he is far more interested in literary fiction. He does really like a few classics, which I'm excited about, but I think for the most part, he is a more literary person than I am. One other book has come so far for this project, and it's 1Q84 by Murakami. And so that is one that has really intimidated me over the years, but it is the book of Murakami's that I am most interested in. I just feel as though I'm either going to love or hate Murakami, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I have a friend at work, a colleague, who is also Army, and she's really excited about this project that I'm doing, and she might join me for some of it. So it might, in a weird way, turn into another kind of year-long project, reading everything that RM has suggested. And there are several other K-pop idols who are big readers that have really great taste. Kai from EXO, like I said, I adore Kai, so I really want to read the books that he has suggested. But Jin Young from GOT7 or GOT7, I'm not sure how you say that. I've not gotten into them yet, but apparently he's also a big reader. So I think it's really interesting that books apparently influence a lot of their music, and apparently also influence how they structure their music videos. It's just really fascinating. K-pop has been really fascinating to me for the past month or so. Oh, maybe I'll show you a couple of spreads in my K-pop journal because I am really, really loving that, and I think I'm going to work in that this evening. So I thought I would just share this book mail with you. I am really excited about it. I'm really excited that this is so short. This is one that I think I'll probably pick up soon just because it does seem like something I can go on and slam out of the way. So I promised a quick little flip through showing you some of my spreads in my K-pop journal. So don't judge me. But so this is my butter spread for BTS. This is my favorite thing I have ever done ever in bullet journaling because I did a Dutch door. Like butter melting, is that not just cute? I'm so proud of that. It's rare when something comes out the way that I pictured it in my mind. So I like to celebrate those moments. This was my spread I did for Jen's birthday. I love this photo of him. And I love this butterfly. I got these butterflies a couple of years ago when I was in Italy, and I refuse to use them because I keep thinking to myself, I got these in Italy, I got these in Italy. But if you never use them, what good is it to have them? This is my spread on Kai's Peaches, his new single and his new album. My hand lettering is not great, and it's something that I am working on, but we'll learn, we'll get there. This is also maybe my favorite spread after my butter spread, which is about Kyung from EXO and his iconic look in Cocoa Bob. I mean, I'm sorry. The mullet, it kills me. It's so great. The color of his hair, he truly is serving like Autumn Court, like Unseelie King. He gives me really a fae vibe, like high fae in this music video, and actually all the time. He just has that look. Very mischievous, very pretty, very sculpted. I love Baekhyun. He's actually, I think, my ultimate bias. I think Baekhyun is my biggest crush in K-pop. And then I just did this yesterday. I did 2 one-page spreads. So this is when V dressed up as a Squid Game guard, which I can't believe he did that for me. Thank you, V. And then this is San from EXO, who I love, and this is my little Vogue spread. I need some stickers to like tie everything together, I feel like, because this is feeling very bland to me, but I wanted it to feel like a magazine page, and it's working out, I think, but I do need some more stickers, I think. But this I'm super proud of because I love the little dalgonas, how cute they came out. So let's wrap up the vlog here. It is December 12th, so it is Sunday, and my birthday was a couple of days ago, and I fully intended to kind of take you along for the entire day, but the entire day was very, very slow. It was very rainy. It was super hard to get out of bed that day, and then I went out to eat. I did do some nice things. It was a really great birthday, and I got a really, really wonderful gift from a dear friend, and I wanted to share that with you really quickly before we go. So this is my colleague who is also ARMY, who is also into BTS, and she knows I'm just now getting into them. And so she gave me the butter albums, the Peaches and Cream butter albums. I am just stunned. I'm really stunned by this because they're really, really wonderful. The photo books and everything are incredible. I really want to take you through them. I got off the phone with like Christy last night. I took Christy through everything in these albums, and I'm sure she is sick and tired of hearing about the butter albums, but I knew Christy would fangirl with me. But it's so cute. You got a little message from them in there. This is a message from Suga, and I got a message in the other one from Jimin, who is my BTS bias. And this is just really sweet, really kind, and I'm just so excited about everything here. You got posters, stickers. There's my little Jimin message. Of course, the CDs are in there, and then also you got like lyric cards that told you the lyrics in both Korean and in English, which I think was really, really nice. I'm just really excited about these. They're so pretty. They're just so pretty. That was just a very, very kind gift, and she wrote me a really lovely card. So it was a very wonderful birthday, and I apologize that I did not take you along with me, but I did have a cake. That's, I think, the most important thing about a birthday. But to wrap up the reading updates, I did finish Once Upon a Broken Heart. I, for some odd reason, did not carry it up here with me, but I really loved this. In fact, I think on Goodreads, I wound up rating it 5 stars. It was so whimsical. It was just a very charming and whimsical story. It felt very sort of Alice in Wonderland, that sort of whimsy, also kind of like Hogsmeade and Harry Potter, kind of really magical, cute treats and cute animals and everything that really, in the end, I guess, added nothing to the plot of the story, but added quite a bit to the world building. And I think really the world building is what made the story so charming to me, but I also just really loved the characters. It was an interesting thing because you could kind of see what the intent was. Who the love interest of the main character is ultimately going to be, you can figure that out. But essentially every character that she comes into contact with could conceivably be somebody that she could get in a relationship with. There's a lot of flirting from various characters. It's just a really great story. In fact, it had everything I love in it, every single trope. And I'm not exaggerating. Truly, every single trope I loved was present in this book. So it just felt like it was a really perfect book for me. I know people had a problem with Caraval from a structural standpoint, and looking back now, I really don't think I read Caraval. So I have very little memory of that. I will say this book does in fact spoil that entire series. So I'm gonna go back and read that series, and hopefully I can still really enjoy it with it being spoiled. But I'm not really sure what people's complaints were about that series. If it was the world that didn't make sense, the characterization, or the plot that just didn't add up for them. But this to me felt very tight. It just felt as though a lot was happening, a lot was going on, and a lot of different things were occurring. There were multiple different plot lines in this book. So like I said, I think in an earlier clip, what you read on the flap of the book was the very tip of the iceberg. It was not, in fact, what I would tell you the book was about. So I just really, really loved that. I think that I'm going to read the Caraval trilogy now, and I hopefully will really enjoy that as well. So maybe I've got a new favorite author on my hands here, a new favorite YA fantasy author. But some really sad news came this morning. Multiple of you guys messaged me on Instagram about this, and Anne Rice passed away yesterday. Anne Rice moved on. And to be frank with you, I am really torn up about it. It truly feels like I have lost somebody I knew. Like, I've been kind of in shock all day. Like, I just cannot believe it. And so now I just want to read an Anne Rice book. I want to go back with her. I want to be in her words. I'm thankful to her for everything she's given us, but I know she's in a better place now. Hopefully she's getting the answers that she's always wanted. I mean, that was really the goal of her career. The goal of most of her books is sussing out spiritual issues and what comes after and judgment. And she's experiencing that now. So now my 2022 project is back up in the air, because now I'm wondering, should a 2022 project be reading all of Anne Rice's books in honor of her? I really think it should be. I think I should read everything that she ever wrote, including Prince Lestat in the Realm of Atlantis, which I've always laughed at, but I don't know. There's got to be a shade of greatness in there, doesn't there? It was Anne Rice. But anyway, this was a very sad moment to end this vlog on. I don't know if I'm gonna vlog anymore in the Christmas season. I would like to, but we're going into the last couple of weeks before Christmas. I don't know what to call this week. This is the week before Christmas, and I think this is going to be a relatively busy week, so I don't know if I'll start another vlog or not. But I've really enjoyed doing this one. I think it did help me kind of get back in the reading spirit, so hopefully maybe vlogs are just the key to that for me. So maybe vlogging is really what I should do moving forward. So I'm just going to wrap up the vlog here. I would love to know down below if you have read Once Upon a Broken Heart, or if you have any reading suggestions. I would love to know how your holiday season is going, but that's going to be all for me today. I hope you're all having a great week. Happy reading. Goodbye.